All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mack, Play Fast Football. All right, today we're going to take a look at some vertical choice shot plays, a version of some four vertical stuff, but a little bit different way to do it, that you can maybe free up some more space and get some throws that you think you can make and kind of win in some areas that you think you can win, and maybe make it potentially a little bit more simplified than four verticals. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat sideline replay system we use here at Bishop Kenny. If you are looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, make sure you check out GameStrat. Dome hats, the headwear company we use with Play Fast and Bishop Kenny. Here's one of our fitted dome hats, different styles. All right, you can completely customize the hat yourself. You can build it, design it yourself, fit it, snapback, Velcro, whatever you want on the enclosure. Make sure you check out Dome. Baker Sports, sporting goods company locally here in Jacksonville. They do our coaches stuff. We get our uniforms through them. They do our players, some of our players' gear, fan gear. They do stuff for our faculty here, so make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. JustPlayFB, which is the software tool we use for a lot of our playbooks, diagrams, installs, presentations. It's the best play drawing tool on the market, in my opinion, and it makes presentations and installs a lot easier, so make sure you check them out. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps. Don't need a partner. Elbows in, thumbs up. All right, you can use it in the off season, in season. It was really good during the pandemic because it wasn't body on body. You didn't have to worry about it. All you had to do was clean the pad down. It was real easy to do. So it's been a great tool for us at the last couple schools I've been at, and we have a bunch of them here at Bishop Kenny. All right, and then Coach Tools, which is basically a new company that is they're making player grading systems, and they're making them customizable to where you can set up the tabs and you can set up the columns and everything you want to grade your players. So if you're tired of doing it the old-fashioned way with a notebook or a pen, or coach is asking you to grade players and you're going play-by-play, writing things down, and then having to go back and maybe write out a handwritten summary of the evaluation, now there is a software program out there to evaluate your players, so check out Coach Tools. All right, so what we're going to take a look at is some vertical choice shot plays. Okay, sorry, my eraser is falling apart. Some vertical choice shot plays, and it's kind of a branch off of four verticals, so it's never going to be four verticals for us. It's going to appear like it's four verticals, but what it's actually going to be is three guys that are on locked comebacks or hook routes or inside stop routes, and it's going to be one guy who has a choice to win based on coverage wherever he could win. So right now I've got to draw up in 11 personnel 2x2. Okay, so if we took the two outside receivers, now this is a theory that goes to more or less it's going to be a slot theory in 2x2 or 3x1. All right, I'm going to show it to you in 2x2, then I'm going to show it to you two different ways in 3x1, but it's more or less a deal that is working the interior guys. So if your outside guys are your dudes, and you may want to stay with your traditional four verticals, this, all right, in an offensive system would be for your inside guys to attack seams or middle of the field open, to where you can almost guarantee that you're going to get a bunch of room for your receiver to win and your quarterback to throw the ball. So our two outside receivers will be locked down. All right, in both versions that I draw up, they're on lockdown comebacks. We don't put them on verticals. We don't convert them, even if they're getting press coverage. If we're getting press coverage, we'll have a different version of things that we can take advantage of with them. But when we're running this concept, they are on locked outside comebacks, okay? One of the inside receivers is going to be on the lock hook route. So we're going to lock him up and put him on the hook. So right now, I've got the tight end drawn up on the lock hook. All right, depending on the coverages you see, if teams set their, if they set their, for us, like if we were a 3-high team, if we set our Sam to the twins, okay, unless we walk the will out to play quarters and leave that four-man box, it's hard for us to do a lot of things to the tight end flanker side. So we either have to lock it or play some version of cover two. All right, but even if we were to play a quarters concept, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get, versus two high safety defenses, we're trying to get the safety on the lock hook down so that we can create all that room with the middle of the field open for the guy that has the choice route, that backside slot, okay, he can win all the way to the post inside. If the seam was uncapped and it was 3 deep, he can win down the seam. A lot of times when we do that, we might, especially if we get rotation, he might have some type of double move route to get into the seam, but basically, all right, if the seam's open, he can win in the seam. Or if you're seeing a lot of zero man with press corners, he can actually win on the slot fade outside. All right, so what we're doing is we're creating room for the vertical choice player to win, and we want him to win vertically. What we don't want is the old-fashioned, flatten out the bender. We want to win down the field. So because of the way I have this drawn up, this post might look more like a bender, but because we're hooking up the backside tight end here, we have this whole side of the field to win to if we run the post. All right, so if we think we can get that safety down and that corner is out there on the comeback, we have that whole area of the field to win to, so now we can win on a big deep post back the other way. All right, if it's middle of the field closed, we can win on the seam. If it's some type of man free, all right, or some type of man deal, we can win on the slot fade, right? So that would be one of the ways you would do it. 2x2, 11 personnel away from the tight end, all right, and you give the slot. You could do it, especially if, you could do it in the middle, it's no problem, but you put the tight end flanker to the boundary, you put the twins to the field, now you're going to give him a whole bunch of room that he can win to. The other way you can do it is out of 3x1, so for right now, let's just say I draw a 3x1 open. All right, and for argument's sake, let's say for us, 3 high for us, what we would choose to do. All right, we would choose to play our mixed coverage deal corner, all right, and then our right safety here, our middle safety there, okay, and then we would play a corner and then a backside safety that can bracket that side there, right? So the first way you could do it, all right, versus this type of coverage is you can create room, all right, by possibly bringing the 3 inside vertical, hooking him up. The outside guys will run their hooks, and now where you're trying to create space to win versus stubby coverage, mix, however you want to call the coverage, all right, it's this number 2 on this safety. So again, if you think the middle safety is somebody that's going to play 3 vertical, all right, you can certainly run the hook right there, and now what you're doing is you're creating all this space over the top for that player to win, all right? And then depending on if there was any rotation, again, he's got the choice. He's got the leeway. He can win if he's uncapped there. He can win on the slot fade. He can win to the post, all right? So what you're trying to do is figure out how they play that coverage. What would that safety do if the backside safety is down and he's not a poach player, okay? Then you can kind of bring this inside a little bit and hook it up, because that middle safety's probably going to play anything deeper than that linebacker level. If they're not carrying that, he's probably going to play that man-to-man, right? So you can bring that inside a little bit to create more space. If you're playing the teams that poach, it's a really good concept, right? If you're playing the teams that poach, because now, let's say they poach the backside, right? They play palms on the front side. So let's say your corner, for us, if we put our Sam here in our corner, and let's just say if we had to change personnel, if we had a corner playing palms and we had a safety there, and the team was poached, they're probably bringing, a 4th guy off the edge from one side to the other if they're playing some type of poach deal, or maybe they're poaching. So like for us, we could play the middle safety on 3 vertical, all right, and now on the backside, we could leave the backside safety down to where we can poach 3, but still have a flat player and a hook player, so we still get 3 for 2 on the backside. That's what's great about the drop 8 world. I know this is not a defensive video, but either way, if we did that, very similar to a team that wants to run poach, now you're going to create even more room. Because if we bring this 3 to the other hash mark and hook him, that's going to eat the middle safety up right now. So now that the middle safety's eaten up, now look at all the room you're creating to win to the post for that number 2 on the choice. Right? So now, with that number 2 on the choice, you're creating all that room for him to win back to the post with a middle of the field open team. You get some type of 3 deep rotation, he can win in the alley. You get some type of man free, he can win on the slot fade. Okay? So again, it's a locked hook, comeback, locked hook with some type of vertical choice option by one of your players. All right? The other thing you can do, all right, that makes it kind of interesting is you could get some switches and some rail routes. So you can get some switches and some rail routes in to where you can switch the 2 and the 3. The 2 can be the inside hook player, all right? And again, whether you hook him on his hash or the other hash, all right, you can bring 2 across and run the mandatory locked hook. Now you can rail the 3, and the 3 has the option of winning to the post, to the seam, or to the fade based on coverage. All right, so now you've got it in 2 by 2. You've got it in 3 by 1, all right, you've got it in 3 by 1 to, all right, to the number 2 receiver, and now you've got it in 3 by 1 to the number 3 receiver with a switch and a rail and some concepts that are difficult for defenses to pick up, all right. Really good out of the 11 personnel Y-off world, because that's where you'll see a bunch of the poach stuff. So really, really good in my opinion when you're in that 11 personnel Y-off. So he's an instant, all right, he's an immediate. He's an immediate, right now, vertical threat. So if teams try to play it in some type of palms coverage, now that's where you get a lot of the backside poach deals, right? So now you get the backside poach deals, and you are going, if you know you're getting poached, you're bringing 3 to that hash, hook them, outside comeback, 2 has the leeway to win all the way into the post, down the hash, slot fade, right? And then from this look, if you're getting the poach, the beauty of it is, if you were to slide a protection that way, now you might be able to get the back on some type of dodge route on the will linebacker in man-to-man. As long as the locked hook is 10 yards deep there, now you can get the back soloed up on the will, and now you can get the back involved in some type of choice, right? Some type of choice route, all right, that, you know, the big NFL route that they run when they get their one-on-one matchups. He can win wherever he wants to win. All right, normally you try and win back out here if the Mike linebacker is, you know, a hook curl player there, right? But you can get your matchups now on the backside to where you can involve your tailback in the route. But the bottom line is you're getting away from the old-fashioned 4 verts to where you have a lock seam and a read seam, and a read seam, middle of the field open runs the bender, and middle of the field closed, he runs, you know, the hash or whatever. What you're now doing is you're locking 3 comeback routes. You're only looking for 1 vertical route, right? Really, in theory, most of the time when you run 4 verts, based on the coverage, you know kind of which vert you may go to if you don't go, you know, if you go boundary seam, field seam, check down, or whatever your reads are. If you go hash to hash outside, or if you go boundary seam, come back, check down, whatever your reads are. People read 4 verticals a ton of different ways. Nothing's wrong. All right, there is no one, you know, right or wrong way to do it. But whatever your reads are, all right, you usually know that vertically you're probably only getting one of those guys, right? So if we know that, why not run a concept where we can pull some of the coverage down and let one guy win vertically and give him the leeway to win in a bunch of different spots, right? So now your quarterback can look to the poach guy. All right, so your quarterback, he knows if it's poach, let me look at the poach guy, let me draw the poach guy down, because now I know I'm giving my guy all that room to the post to win. Okay, so it's you know, it's a vertical choice theory, but there's only one guy involved in the choice, right? So it's a vertical choice theory, but only one guy involved. He has the chance to win to the post. He has the chance to win, all right, he has the chance to win down the seam. He has a chance to win slot fade, depending on coverage. You know the other guys are running the hooks, so you know that that's your vertical choice, so that's your shot guy. You really, you know, in the 4 vertical world, you usually only win on one of those choices. Now, I get it when you're running the outside guys on vertical choice also, and you get it to where if he's even, I'm leaving. A lot of the times though, that better be read pre-snap with a matchup that you like, because if you teach your quarterback, you know, boundary seam to field seam, or field seam to boundary seam, or seam to back, or it's hard for them to get back outside and make those throws that they need to make. So in my opinion, there's times where if you want to take a vertical shot, tag one guy to be the vertical shot player, and everybody else hooks it down, and now that guy that is the vertical shot player has a bunch of different places he can win, and you're creating room for him to win there. All right, so if you're somebody who likes throwing it vertical, you like taking vertical shots, all right, maybe this is something you want to look into. It's cheap and easy to install. I think it's cheaper than 4 verticals. You know, whether or not it's a better play is debatable. Obviously, 4 verticals is a big, you know, big time buzzword, big time play for a lot of people in their system. You know, if you think 4 verticals is a better play, that's fine. For me, for all the, you know, the times we ran 4 verticals and the teaching with the quarterback, if I got 1 vertical shot that I can take and I do my game plan on coverage, and I know the guys that I can draw down with the hook routes, and I got 1 guy that can win, why not give him more options to win and more space to win? Okay, so if you're a 4 vertical guy, maybe you want to check it out as you know, a complement to your 4 verticals. If you're somebody who is looking for vertical shots to throw down the field, maybe you want to check it out. All right, you know, again, it's just my opinion. It's something that I've looked at that I think is something that's a little bit cheaper and easier to run, that I think quarterbacks can understand, and I think we all have 1 guy that can win, you know, and that's the guy we want to get the ball to. So, you know, I think it's a good way to take a vertical shot down the field. I think it's, to me, it's a little bit easier than 4 verticals, but that's debatable for everybody. But, you know, hopefully if you like it, check it out, give it a shot. 2x2, 3x1. You can come up with some other formations. You know, you can do it out of empty and run the back on some type of shallow cross or something else. So there's a lot of different ways you can get to it. A lot of different personnel groups you can do it in. All right, but bottom line is give 1 guy the choice. Let that guy win where he needs to win. Everybody else draws the coverage down, and we create space for that player. And then you teach your quarterback off of that, based on coverages and matchups, what you think he's going to be there, where you think he's going to win. All right, so again, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on so you know every time we do a video or I do anything on YouTube Live. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down if you like the video or you don't like the video. It always helps me understand what content you want out there, or if you want the video, you know, done in a little bit different way. If there's something you want to add or a comment you want to make, leave a comment. Every comment that I see, I try to respond to. So positive or negative, I try to respond to every comment that's out there. If I can understand the question or understand the comment, I normally will respond. All right, and again, I appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football and for me and for being followers and for staying with us for 9 years. So thank you to all you guys that are out there. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I will see you next time.